Hey, I'm Steve Speck with S&S Archery. Today we're going to go through my gear list for a late season rifle elk hunt. So I actually just got out a week ago and left my pack pretty much loaded with everything that was in there. I did forget to bring in my binoculars today, and so inside my binocular pouch I carry my extra ammunition. That's pretty much it. So yeah, this was my whole setup. The weather was 20 for the low, 40 for the high. We were expecting a little bit of precipitation, but not much, so I wasn't worried about rain gear, anything like that. So this was everything I had, lightweight setup, and we're just gonna walk you through all the items that were in my pack for this trip. So starting with the backpack itself, I have an Exo Mountain Gear 3200 pack. Definitely plenty of capacity for me just for a short trip like this. I had 3 days of food with me. I can stretch this out a lot further, but as you'll see, pretty minimal and lightweight gear list here. The one item that's not out there is water bladder that's already in the bladder sleeve of my pack. So that's just a Platypus 3-liter Hoser bladder. Super lightweight, been using one for years, have zero issues with it. So starting with, we're just gonna work right to left, S&S Archery trekking poles. And then I have these Wiser Precision quick sticks on here, which allows me to basically turn my trekking poles into a rifle rest. So when I'm out there hunting, in fact, I killed an elk on this trip. We came around a corner and he was right there. I dropped that, grabbed my pack and bear hugged it, and you just shoot right off put the butt of the gun off the pack and then the front of the stock on the shooting sticks here, and gives you a really stable rest to shoot from. Water filter on this trip was this new Platypus water filter. I think it's called the Quick Draw or something like that. It's a new filter. The Sawyer filters, the Katadyn Be Free, all those I've used. They're all great filters, very similar in size and weight and function. So this was actually the first trip of this Platypus filter. It worked great. I do pack a butt pad just for sitting on wet ground in the morning. It's not a heavy glassing intensive hunt, but it is nice to have a butt pad to sit down, especially, there was some snow there that was left from a snowstorm that passed through, so give you something to sit on. Food here, I basically put all of my food for a day into a Ziploc bag. I've got a dehydrated meal in here and about 3,200 calories of bars, Snickers bars, Top Ramen, coffee, backcountry bars. The backcountry bars we sell on the S&S website, they're awesome. And another bar in there called Big Sur bars. So basically break each day into these bags, and then that way I can keep track throughout the trip to make sure that I'm eating every day, right? That there's not a day that goes by where you're so busy hunting you forget to eat calories, and you're gonna kind of pay for that the next day by not having as much energy. Pack wipes, just these wet ones. They work great. I don't pack toilet paper anymore. Just throw a bag of these in for each trip and I'm good to go. I do pack, as far as when I'm processing an animal, just these orange gloves. They are nice. Just keep your hands clean. When you cut up the animal, you can take them off and then get your items in your pack. And I do appreciate having them, especially if you don't have water nearby you to wash off. I do pack a little bit of rope to hang quarters if I need to, or an emergency situation. This is actually a custom bag that I made. I fill it full of my game bags. I've got a Spartan bipod that I throw on the front of the gun and then use this rear bag as a rifle rest. I can kind of orientate it flat this way or vertical like that to change the height as needed. So a super handy way to use my game bags as a multi-purpose item for me. Gloves, colder weather hunt like this, I love packing these First Light puffy gloves. They just keep your hands really warm. If you're gonna sit there and glass for a few hours, they're fantastic. And then these are just a mechanic's leather glove on this trip that work great for packing around. I've starting to use these more and more often, just even during the hunt, where if it's not cold, just when you're descending really steep, rocky stuff, climbing things, it's nice just to be able to grab onto branches and brush and pull yourself up. This is just a First Light beanie. Again, pretty simple. Throw on, keep your head warm. Headlamp is a black diamond spot. This one's a year or two old. These things are fantastic. A little complicated in learning the buttons, but they have gotten easier compared to previous models. Inside, The Exo stash pocket is going to be a pile of items, and I'm not going to go through everything, but knife. I have this little mini Gorilla tripod that I can hook to my phone so I can take pictures if I need to, especially if I'm on a solo hunt and I kill something. I've got my fork in here. There's going to be charging cables for phones, batteries, chapstick, Tylenol PM, fire starter. Just my tags are in here. Just random stuff. I'm going to have Luco tape in there for blisters if I ever need that in a pinch. So that's my stash pocket. Let's leave that out. Stove-wise, Jetboil. This is an older Sol Titanium version that is just about running out. The fins are starting to fall off on the bottom, but these are fantastic stoves. The efficiency of the burner, you can get about 8 days out of a small fuel canister if you're being mindful of how much water you're boiling. Can't say enough good things about Jetboil. Tent for this trip, normally I do a tarp and a bivy sack on warm weather hunts, so that's going to be most of, all of August, most of September unless a storm's coming in. In October it's 50-50 on the tent that I'm taking. It just depends on the weather forecast. So when the weather's going to be crappy, I take this tarp tent Eon Lee. It's a super light tent. It weighs just at a pound, but and is a Cuban fiber material, but it has basically, it's a full-on tent. It uses the trekking pole, takes one trekking pole in the center, but really bomb-proof, super lightweight tent. And again, coming in at 15 ounces. Sleeping pad, Thermarest NeoAir. I've been using these pads on and off for the last decade. Been really fantastic, as long as you're a little bit mindful when you're pitching, or when you're setting up your tent, that you're not throwing on top of sharp sticks and rocks. And I'll kind of kick out where I want to sleep, and then just run my hand over the ground, make sure that there's not anything sharp on the ground I didn't catch or see, and I've not had any issues with these pads. I do, even though I save every ounce where I can, I do pack a pillow. I seem to sleep a lot better. I like to sleep on my side, and kind of having the support on the head definitely takes pressure off my shoulder. Just sleep better that way. As far as clothing goes, it's basic. 2 pairs of socks. Darn Tough socks are the company that I use. They have a lot of different models, different thicknesses. They call it like full cushion, medium cushion, light cushion, which is basically the thickness of the sock underneath your foot. And basically, depending on the shoe that I'm wearing for that trip, I know which socks work better, right? If there's extra room inside the sock, I'll wear a full cushion to kind of eat up that volume, so my foot's not sliding around in the shoe. Or if it's a shoe that's just naturally kind of tight on my foot, I'll wear one of their thinner socks. Clothing, this is a down jacket from a company called Stellar. It's called their ultralight hooded hood. I think it's just called ultralight hood down jacket. Fantastic. It's under 12 ounces. By far the best warmth to weight jacket I've ever found for a down puffy. I do, on a colder trip like this, take these First Light Uncompahgre pants. They're really nice. You just wear them around camp. We killed Mark's bull in there on the first day, and that whole evening the next morning we were hunting for myself, and there was a lot of sitting and glassing involved in that. And when it's cold, those things are really nice just to slap on. For a mid layer, this is a company called Ridge Merino, and it's a really nice piece. It's super light, very warm, a merino wool shirt. And then quilt is from Enlightened Equipment. That's a 30-degree quilt that I had overstuffed, then add a couple ounces of down to it. So it comes in, it's probably like a 20 to 25 degree rated quilt. Comes in right at 18 ounces, so very, very lightweight. And then it just connects right to the pad. And with the puffy jacket and puffy pants, I can take that combination, into the teens for sure, and sleep plenty warm for the night. So I'm gonna throw everything in the pack as I would load it up, but then we'll put it on a scale and show you just how light this is. On the pack, since I've already got the bladder inside, the only thing that I like to do is I'll take some of the kill kit items. So if it's a bow hunt, my game bags would go in this pocket, but since those are in that rear bag that I made, rifle bag, they're not. So the only thing that goes in here is gloves and my rope. And then I'll just go right to the main bag. And one thing I actually kind of changed up just this year was I will stuff some items. Usually my sleeping bag would go in first, and now I just stuff. So I grab my pillow, my sleeping pad, and my tent that I'll tuck on that opposite side. And I'll look for any other items, you know, when I'm packing up camp in the morning that I know I'm not going to need during the day. And one of those for sure would be one of my like extra pairs of socks. So I'll put that down on the bottom, and then it kind of actually gives me some hard objects down there that are still super light to then stuff my sleeping bag around. I just kind of definitely just work it in there. And then I'll cheat the zipper up so the bag doesn't want to come back out. And then I just start thinking about basically what am I going to need access to throughout the day. So the first thing that comes to mind is my jet boil. That always goes right here, right on the zipper. So, you know, when it's lunchtime and I want to get that out and make coffee, it's not a yard sale situation where I got to take everything out of the pack because I buried it in the bottom, right? So just as you're loading it, be mindful of the items that you may need to get to throughout the day. So another good example would be, you know, my extra food I'll throw down in there. And again, I take the time to form these into these nice little bricks, and it really makes a big difference on how much space that takes up. So the food for the day will go right above the stove. And then I'm just going to fill the rest of that space with my extra clothing items. My stash pocket, our system just has a little buckle, clips right in, so all those items that I need to are accessible. So again, middle of the day, I need something out of my stash pocket, my stove, or my food. They're all right there next to the zipper, quick and easy access. Now everything else out here are items that I'm gonna need while I'm hunting. So wipes and water filter always go in my right pocket. My knife, I'll just throw in this pocket in case I need to get to it. Sometimes it's in my stash pocket. That item does kind of float around. And one thing that's I consider very important is, and it's just come naturally through how I'm loaded the pack, right? But is weight distribution and loading it properly. You don't want to just stuff all the items in the bottom of the pack. You know, say if you've got our bigger like 6,400 bag, but you've only got these amount of items with you, you want to use the compression straps of the bag to have this nice kind of even distribution of the weight inside the pack. So just be mindful of that. One thing you can do is suck up all the volume out of the bottom of this if you're not filling up the whole pack, and that's going to help prevent the weight from gathering and sitting at the very bottom. On our front stretch panel, two things that I'm going to want to quick throughout the day: sitting pad, and then I put that rear rifle bag right on top so I can get to that quickly if I needed, which is a pretty likely scenario. Trekking poles, gonna go on the side of the pack. I just drop those kind of down in here and then run compression straps over the top of it. And then lastly is everything that's going to go in the lid. Both pairs of gloves, beanie, and then I throw my headlamp in that very top pocket up here. Sometimes I'll throw some food snacks on top of this if I need to. Just depends. You know, it's usually like extra stuff that's maybe not in one of my food bags, like gummy bears or something like that. That way I've got like quick access, super quick access to a snack if I need it. Okay, so you saw all the items go in there. The two items that are not here, obviously my water bladder is completely empty. But that's just going to fluctuate. A full bladder, 3-liter bladder, I think is like 6.5 pounds. And And then, but sometimes you might have 0. Sometimes you know, I might, if I have that, my dirty water bag from the platypus, that's a liter and a 3-liter bladder, I could be packing 4 liters of water. Just depends on the country I'm in and you know, what the water situation looks like, how much I need to pack. So that's everything. We'll grab the scale here. And obviously everything for a 3-day hunt. So 22 pounds, 5 ounces, 9 ounces. Kind of bouncing around 22 pounds. So as you can see, there's nothing there that I don't have. I think guys have a very natural tendency to kind of overpack, but that is truly everything I need for a hunt with 3 days of food in there. I'm going to be warm, I'm going to be comfortable. I've got a nice sleeping bag and pad. Pad's got a good R value to keep you warm. I've got puffy pants, puffy jacket, down gloves, really pretty dialed in for a late season hunt. So for more information, just check us out at snsarchery.com.